all of that here in just a moment. But first of all, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, I'm excited. This will be fun. I think it's funny because you two are just big giant nuts anyway, so it's a perfect name for your show.
Right? It
I didn't
is.
think about that part.
I didn't either.
Wow, our intuitiveness is so fantastic.
Right? Hey, this is Jerome.
I'm Ginger.
And this is North Platte in a nutshell. Thank you for joining us again. And we have, if you're watching, a third face on the camera, or you'll hear a third voice here in a moment. It is Shea, right?
Yeah.
That's what you go by? Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I
Yes.
said it right.
Well, it's because it's spelled different than, like Shea Stadium or whatever. It's flipped. It's AE instead of EA.
Yeah,
So,
I just wanted to make sure that I addressed our
you're good.
guest correctly. I probably should have done that before we were on camera. So
It's fine.
everybody screws up.
Hey.
Hey, anyway, we're with Shea, who is with Whitetail Screen Print, also Cycle Sport.
Yep.
And you are here in downtown. You are very active in that, and we will get to all of that here in just a moment. But first of all, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, I'm excited. This will be fun. I think it's funny because you two are just big giant nuts anyway, so it's a perfect name for your show.
Right? It
I didn't
is.
think about that part.
I didn't either.
Wow, our intuitiveness is so fantastic.
Right? So the big thing that's going on, first of all, and we'll bring it up because you helped spearhead this effort. It's right next to your store, and the opening is coming up on Tuesday the 22nd.
Yes.
Keith Blackledge Park.
Yes. So it's my understanding that they had tried about 10 years ago to get a green space over in that section, and it just really didn't quite come to fruition. So when Jeff and I bought this building back in 2014, that was one of the first things we were focused on. So we went and talked to the city, we talked to Keep North Platte, Lincoln County Beautiful. We just had this great partnership. We had a lot of people wanting to donate time, money, services to make it happen. It took 5 years, but we got it.
And with that being right where it was, I know that there is a lot of chatter around town. I'm sure, I know you've heard it. I know Ginger's heard it.
Yeah.
People talking about how it's a waste of resources and really negative talk towards it.
Right.
But as you just said, a lot of what's going on out there is donated time and material. So
Yes.
it's really not a waste.
No, it's not a waste at all. I mean, it is not city money. It was not tax dollars. This is all a cooperative effort between business owners, grant money. Let me take care of that. Hold on a second.
We are in her office for those who are.
Sorry
All right.
about that.
No, it's okay.
Hazards of daily life.
Right.
So it was all, whether it was grant funded or donated, there were no tax dollars really involved. So yeah, and it's just a way to beautify downtown.
And it does.
Yes, when you look at all of the building owners downtown who have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to improve their buildings, this is just another piece to that puzzle to help enhance that effort and bring people downtown.
Yeah, I mean, and it's gorgeous. When you come down the viaduct or you just drive by, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And especially when you look at what it used to be. It used to be just a parking lot.
Yes, and
know?
I don't know if I posted it on my personal page or if I posted it on the Whitetail Screen Print Facebook page, but I did a before and after where it was just that dirt lot, that raw wall, because that north wall, it used to be a shared wall. So when they took the shelter out, they cut that wall in half. So it was just this ugly raw wall. We put that north door in and did all the that kind of fake siding stuff to it, and an awning and our sign, and it's just such a difference if you look at the before and after. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, and I remember when they took out that the connection.
Yep.
That used to be there, the Lincoln connection. This where you're at used to be A to Z Books years
Correct.
and years ago.
And Kunkel's Auto Parts way back when.
Right, right. Yeah, when you said splitting the wall, it actually exposed a hole in the wall that had to be fixed. When they cut that in half, it put kind of a hole, and people can see me pointing like you don't know where I'm pointing at, but Shay'll know what I'm talking about. Back here where the bike shop is near the back, there was there was actually kind of a big hole where you could see daylight. They had to patch that up real quick because I mean, the building was old, it was falling apart, and then that's what left us with that dirt lot for years. And
Right.
it just blows my mind that anybody would bitch and complain about taking not even a dirt lot, it was a mud lot for a long time.
Right. I threatened to have mud wrestling here.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. I think I was like, yeah, we should do that.
You are on board.
It would have been one hell of a way to raise money.
Right?
Exactly.
For the
I
park.
think that's what you were saying
Yes.
too.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just weeds, mud, dirt, and
Yep.
you turned it into a beautiful walking path in there. The grass is really great. The fountain, which we'll get to here in a minute, all of it's very beautiful. I mean, it's just a completely different lot than what it was. I mean, if you didn't know what was there before, you would look at it and think, well, maybe this has always been here, you know? And to hear people complain about that being put in there is just, it's maddening to me, and I didn't do anything with the park. It's got to be maddening to you as well.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The squeaky wheels in this town are really, really loud.
Yeah.
And so it's my mission to be louder than those squeaky wheels. And so I'm not on the rant page, but everyone forwards me things when it has something to do with the fountain or whatever else is going on. And so I do get to see some of that stuff that's going on. And it's pretty hard not to react because you want to defend your beliefs, but sometimes it's easier to just stay quiet and let people see what's really happening, let them gather their facts. And it is very frustrating because, you know, again, all these building owners and business owners downtown are putting in their own time, their own money to make this a better place to be. And then you have all these people that are just complaining about absolutely everything. And I saw a sign the other day that said, it said, don't complain until you volunteered.
I agree. Oh, wholeheartedly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you are the epitome of volunteering for things. I mean, we were just talking about that beforehand.
Right.
I mean, you're laundry list, you're on the downtown board, you're on a number of other things. Volunteer for some of them, and then you can complain about something.
Right, exactly.
Put in the work.
Yes.
Put in
exactly.
and see what actually needs to be done in this town, and then do the complaining.
Right.
Walk a mile in somebody's shoes.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So what made the news recently? The fountain.
Yes.
Somebody decided to, and
Clean the rocks.
Clean the rocks, yeah. Depending on your view of it, either pull a harmless prank or vandalize it. Both
Right.
are accurate.
Right.
They put some soap of some kind in the fountain. What was your initial reaction to that?
My initial reaction was, oh my gosh, somebody hates us. They're mad. And so they put soap in it. You know, that was probably my initial reaction to it. It was late at night. I had just gotten home. I'd been putting in like 18-hour days. It was the one night I left early, and I left at like 8:30, and it happened like at 9. Yeah. And so that was my first initial reaction. But then and Jeff was just getting ready to go to work because he's a railroader as well. So he was getting called to go to work. And so he came down to kind of start cleaning it up a little bit. And we were FaceTiming. And as we were FaceTiming, and he's got the hose and he's blowing all the suds out into the street, a police officer drives by, slams on his brakes, jumps out of the car, and Jeff's like, I'm just cleaning it up. So then it became funny. Then it was like, oh, my husband could get arrested for something somebody else did. So then it became kind of like, okay, if this was just a harmless prank and it didn't hurt anything, then yes, I can see the humor in it. But at the same time, it's like, leave other people's stuff alone. But I kind of equate it to, you know, back in the day when we would toilet paper somebody's house, or you would fork your youth pastor's yard.
We used to cone. Do you know what that is?
No. I'm not even going to tell you what we did when I was in high school.
We would take like construction cones
Yeah.
and then go put them on people's cars or on their front porch.
Did you steal them?
I don't remember.
Oh, so I grew up in Arizona, and we would take maxi pads and tape them to people's tires all the way around. And it's really hot in Arizona, so when they peeled them off, the tape stuck, so you could still kind of see the shapes. That was like my pranking. Ooh,
Yeah.
severe, right?
Well, same with the coning. I mean,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not that bad.
A few years ago, and I'm going to pay off something that when we first started this podcast, a friend of mine said they wanted to hear this story, so here it is. I lived in a really small house here, and this was 6, 7, 8 years ago. It was like this little small 1-bedroom house. But anyway, one morning I woke up running late, and I was working at the radio station at the time, so it's like 4 a.m. I'm pissed because I'm got to get out the door. I got to get to the station so I can get ready to do my morning show. And I go to open the door, and some friends of mine took industrial sized saran wrap, like 2.5 foot long, tube. Anyway, and they took it and they wrapped it around some fence pole out in the back of my house. And I don't know how they did this without waking us up. It was really late at night. Me and my wife were just out, and they wrapped it around my house. And it was small enough that you could do it. It's not like a huge house. Like I said, it's just a one bedroom. And I don't know how many times, but they wrapped it around like 3 or 4 times. So I opened, and again, I'm running late, and it had rained, so water had gotten in between it, and it was a real mess. But I opened my front door. I go to open my screen door, and as I push it open, it just like rubber bands me back into the living room. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So I'm so mad that I'm like pushing at my door expecting to break this industrial saran wrap. And it didn't happen. So then I ran, got a pair of scissors, just, cut it real quick. And then I'm going, and I know exactly who did it. And I'm going out to my car like I'm going to kill him. I got to find a way to get back at him. And then when I get to my car, they had done the same thing to my car.
I knew it. Oh my gosh.
I was so pissed. And but I mean, that right there, I was like, it didn't damage anything.
Right.
There was no property damage. I mean, I see the humor in it, not at that moment, but 5 minutes later, I was laughing on my way to work.
But it's frustrating when
it is.
So many different people have put time and energy and effort into this green space to have something like that happen.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both ways. Yes, it can be funny, but yes, it can be very aggravating because so many people have done something awesome for this community for somebody to just kind of carelessly not think before they did something.
Right.
Well, and you have to wonder, like, if those voices that have been so staunchly against this whole area back here were more quiet, if this would have been as big of a deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because, I don't know.
Well, like you said, I mean, and we were talking about this before we started recording, there's a possibility of if they'd used a certain kind of soap, it could have done damage to the pump.
Right.
I mean, there could have been significant damage done. And thankfully
would really
there wasn't.
Stink.
Yeah, thankfully there wasn't. But I don't get why anybody who's done, and we'll get to the downtown renovation plan that you have as well, how anything positive is met with such hate and negativity of it just blows my mind that people can't be happy for something positive.
I think that's pretty much worldwide, but at the same time, like I said, doesn't it seem like those squeaky wheels are so squeaky here and so loud here? And so what is it that we can do as a community to be louder than those voices? What is it that the positive people, the people that care about North Platte and want to see North Platte grow and succeed, what can we be doing to then be louder than those squeaky wheels? And
I think that's why Jerome and I have done this, is because we were tired of those squeaky wheels. We were tired of the constant negativity and wanted to put some positivity back into the community.
There's nothing to do.
Yes.
There's so much to do. It's ridiculous how much there is to do.
Yeah.
Open your eyes.
Right.
Look for it. It's not going to come knock on your door. You need to look for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And North Platte does, I mean, to be real, it does face challenges. It does seem like there's always businesses closing down. It seems like, I say.
But are those businesses the big box stores, or are they the little mom and pops?
Exactly. I mean, JCPenney's just closed, but honestly, I would challenge anyone to tell me that they even knew there was a JCPenney in town. A lot of people did not go there, especially after they moved out of downtown. People just assumed that they closed.
You mean Sears?
Sears.
Or
right?
Sears. I'm sorry. I apologize. I meant Sears, but JCPenney as well. But, JCPenney's... And again, everybody wants to talk about how Kearney is so awesome compared to North Platte. They don't have a JCPenney's either. So just throwing that out there.
Right.
But yeah, Sears, they moved out of downtown. They moved down to where the old Sunmart was down by Walmart. I bet a lot of people thought, oh, they're just gone, because that's the attitude. They don't want to look and say, oh, hey, it just moved. But yes, you're right. I mean, it does seem like a lot of big box stores. So people feel like to combat that, we need more big box, which I don't 100% agree with. I think
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, I think small businesses in a community like this are really what's going to help keep it going.
But then all those people that are griping and complaining about all these stores leaving, if a big store wants to come in, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to start scrolling Facebook. They're going to start seeing how this community reacts to different things. Would you want to move here?
Yeah, exactly.
If you saw all of that?
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend who was looking for a job. Not here, somewhere else. But that was one of the first things that they did. They Googled the city, get an idea for rent and all that. And then they got on Facebook and just put the city in there to see. And I mean, anybody can do this. You can get on there and it'll talk about, like maybe Keep North Platte and Lincoln County Beautiful will show up. The city of North Platte will show up on Facebook. But eventually those sub pages relating to the city will show up. And when people read through that, they're just like, I don't want to live here if everybody's just at each other's throats and being negative about every little thing, especially something like taking a mud lot and turning it into a park, renovating a downtown that was in desperate need of it. Because I used to work downtown when I first moved here, and those awnings I thought were an eyesore, and they smelled like pigeon shit. Let's be real. I mean, they smelled like pigeon shit and bum pee. You know what I mean? They did.
Right.
The trees were half dead anyway. They needed to go.
Yes. We need trees that make sense to this area and that will thrive in this area.
Yes.
Right. So, and I know that, you along with, as you mentioned, other business owners downtown are starting to work towards trying to renovate downtown. A big part of that was removing those old awnings and then putting up more traditional awnings.
Yeah, we were super excited that the city was supportive of removing those awnings. We knew we had to kind of rush on it because we knew that the possibility of being registered as a historic district would prevent us from removing those. So we knew that kind of had to happen quick. So we got those down, and now the renovation process has been a little bit slower. I think people expect it to just happen overnight, and it's never going to happen overnight. But now if you walk down here, first of all, when they took the awnings down, it made it look like they picked up the buildings and moved them back and set them down. It made it so much bigger. Yeah. And then, Hirschfeld's and Blakely, Sarah from the flower market, we just finished the inside of 2,500 square feet of the Paramount building, but we're bringing back that Paramount sign, that big tall sign. We're bringing that back. We've done this building, obviously. Did I say Hirschfeld's? So many people now it's getting to the point where the buildings are starting to get their awnings and have their flavor and their preference. And then we hired that landscape architect to come in and give some ideas on what we can do with the trees and the planters and festoon lighting and different kinds of cool things like that. So eventually it's going to be awesome. People are going to love it.
But it is, like you said, it is going to take time. It's not going to be an overnight thing.
Right.
And, again, the tearing down of the trees, they were half dead. They had, I don't know how old, half the Christmas lights that were in there, the strings of lights, the bulbs were half dead anyway. And they were just tangled from the wind and everything. It was an eyesore. I mean, if we're being honest. And now I think the big thing, aside from the downtown renovation, is getting people in the empty storefronts in downtown. Which
there are fewer and fewer of them right now.
Yes.
It used to be that there were more unoccupied than occupied. It's flipped.
It is. It is flipped, and I think that it is a great indication that we have some fantastic anchors down here now.
Yes.
That are being able to pull in
double dips.
Yes, double dips is fantastic. Talon wants to go there every other day. I mean, the Good Life. That
right.
I have yet to be there.
Oh my gosh,
it's
to
go there.
Delicious.
I need to go there. Espresso Shop. I mean, we have some fantastic anchors.
Yes.
Hirschfeld's, another fantastic anchor, and just the more solid businesses that we get down there, the more it's just going to be a place that people want to be.
I ran into somebody on Saturday, and they said, "Was there an event downtown today?" And I was really confused because I'm like, oh crap, did I miss something?
That's the worst feeling.
And I'm like, I don't think so. Why? And he goes, good, that's what I wanted to hear. He said, he had to run an errand, but he wanted to drive through downtown to get there just to kind of look and see what's been happening. He said there was not a single parking place open.
So there's one business down there that I think, honestly, probably doesn't get enough credit for actually helping the downtown. It's actually Anytime Fitness. I would not be going downtown on a daily basis if it wasn't for them. And I think there's a lot of people that do that same thing. And because of that, downtown businesses are more top of mind to me. So, I mean, the diversity that we have down there, I think is helpful as well.
Right. And if people can, we're going to put some bike racks around. And so if people can now ride their bikes downtown and spend a day down here, getting their hair done, having lunch, having coffee, whatever it is, there are enough things to do downtown to honestly make a day of it if you wanted to.
And now you have a beautiful park right here. Sorry.
Yeah, go get ice cream and eat it out in the park.
Yeah.
Right. And then
maybe not when it's blizzarding, but
and then when you're done, go get a tattoo.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's true. There's a diverse, like you were talking about the diversity. I mean, if you need shoes, you can get them at Brown's. If you need your hair cut, or even a beard trim. At one point I got my beard trim done at Toxic beauty down here. If you need food, if you need coffee, if you need a tattoo, we have tattoo shops. The escape room is down here. There's a few boutiques and one going in.
Yep.
There's
Bow and arrow.
Yep, bow and arrow. There's a chiropractic's office. There's the gym, the theater. There's so much going on downtown that I think, and people are starting to rediscover.
And
what's
downtown
down here.
isn't just that main corridor, what we refer to as the bricks. Downtown expands so much more than that. I mean, it goes clear down to where Happy Heart is.
Exactly.
So, and they're a huge supporter of downtown. And so, honestly, I mean, the amount of support that downtown has now and the amount of businesses, it way outshadows those empty storefronts. So
Right. Well, and like you said, most people think the bricks area, this 4 square block area is downtown. But the parameters of it actually, like you said, from Happy Heart up, I think to the tracks,
Yeah.
and then over to where I believe Firestone is, correct? Or is it?
yeah, it goes even further. Poplar.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Poplar to Willow.
Okay, so Poplar to Willow, and then, so it's really a huge area. It's just that a lot of the focus is on the historical
Yes.
district of downtown, which any place you go, and I've had this conversation with many people, whether it's a town the size of North Platte, whether it's Kearney, whether it's Ogallala, McCook, a lot of towns, a lot of cities take pride in their historical downtown district, and it seemed like for a long time, again I say seemed like, but North Platte wasn't in that fold. They were just like, they're old buildings, who cares?
Right.
A lot of people care, and you're
Right.
definitely one of those people that care.
Yep. For sure.
Like you said, you're working on the Paramount building that used to be the Paramount Theater. It's catty corner from the Fox Theater. Do you want to let people know what's going on in there? Because
So yeah, I mean, it's we can totally.
I didn't know if it
talk
was
about
like going to be a surprise thing. Or
No,
not.
not at all. So Skiles, Loop, Bremer, and White, they recently relocated from above Adams Bank and Trust, and they are now in the 2,500 square feet that is on the right side of the building. If you're looking at it, the right side. Those are my directions.
Those directions. I'm like, okay,
Right.
I'm looking at it.
Right. Exactly. And there's a couple other little, smaller businesses that are in there. And then that front corner with all the windows, that is still a secret.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
part is still a secret.
And that's what I was talking about. But no, it's okay. That's fine. Keep it a
Sorry.
secret. No,
I
that's
know.
perfectly fine.
You'll have to come back and do another show.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the last time I was in there, Groovy Granny's was in that corner, and I believe Rob Mitchell had kind of a fitness thing going on, and then there was a few other things in those little office fronts in there. And then as you go in and you go upstairs, which you weren't able to go upstairs because it looked like it was just filled with all sorts of office equipment from the 60s.
Do you know how many trips we took to the dump?
I can't imagine.
And then we had an auction because there's a third floor. So that
Oh my
second
God.
floor is just a mezzanine. The third floor is probably 5,000 square feet.
I want to go in this building sometime.
Full of stuff. I mean,
Wow.
so we had an auction and then we had to take stuff to the dump. But
gosh.
we would love to turn that third floor into something, whether it's like a rooftop restaurant / bar, whatever. But city regulation says that we have to have that second exit going from the third to the second and the second to the first floor, and the sprinklers. Super, super expensive. So that's going to be a little bit down the road, but eventually we would like to put something up in that third floor. Right now it's my daughter's fantasy factory. She can go up there and play basketball, volleyball, softball, whatever she wants to do, ride her bike, her skateboard, her scooter, whatever. She kind of goes up there and just does what she wants to do. And so, we have until she gets out of high school and she's bored with that place up there before we have to really turn it into something else.
Right. But I think it's great that you have those forward-thinking plans to put something that not only is something that's going to be beneficial to downtown, but draw people downtown
Right.
to take advantage of the tattoo shops, the escape
Yep.
room, that make it a destination.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, kind of to go back to those squeaky wheels and what we can do as a city. One of the things that we've kind of started is our hashtag I am North Platte. And so, and we have t-shirts that have that hashtag, and it's the outline of the state of Nebraska with the heart where North Platte is. And we wear them on the 15th of every month. Get it? Because we're 15 county.
Oh, okay.
Get
Nice.
it?
Yeah, I get-
Nice.
And our because you were talking about, if people look on Facebook. And so eventually I'm hoping that, if they were to Google North Platte, they would find this hashtag. And so we just find like really cool stories that happen, and we share those stories on Facebook and put I am North Platte, the hashtag I am North Platte with it. And I don't know if you guys had read the story about J.R. Osborne, who had picked up a gentleman from the airport, because he was the one and only Uber driver way back when. I think
okay.
we have a couple more now, but he was the only one back then. And the rental car company was closed, and this man had a dog with him. And he needed to go be with his mother in the hospital. So JR kept his dog for like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that?
That is.
Are you going to find that anywhere else you go? Honestly,
See-
someone who's just going to take in some stranger's dog and take care of that dog. I mean, and that was super cool. Mm-hmm. So we need to share stories like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there needs to be, and I know that there are counter Facebook pages like North Platte Positives, North Platte Happens, something to do in North Platte. There are places where things like that can be shared
We
as
need
well
to get
on
those
Facebook.
people to start hashtagging I am North Platte.
Yeah,
Those.
absolutely. And a lot of it too, and it needs more people on it as well, because I know there are other pages that tend to lean to the negative. There are a lot of people that are on those pages that like you. Well, you're not on it, but they're like you. They're business owners. They're on there because they have to wait for that moment that somebody calls out their business, and then they have to get on there and go, shit, and defend it, or we are sorry you had this experience.
Yes.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
Help fix it.
In that regard, my philosophy is if you have a great experience at a business, tell everyone. If you have a bad experience at a business, tell me. At my business, come tell me.
Yeah.
I'll fix it. I'll make it right. You come tell me. But if something good happens, then you tell everybody.
Yeah, and it seems to be flipped.
It is.
A little bit. and that's
Statistically, it is
Absolutely.
flipped.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
that's unfortunate.
It is.
Now, speaking of downtown, speaking of the renovations,
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd be able to get it on camera here. I can,
Maybe. You want to try?
yeah, I can give it. Yeah, I mean, I can hold it up and it'll just cover my face, but that's okay.
We're a podcast, so
Yeah, we're a podcast, so those who are listening on audio, use your imagination.
Here, I'll try to be very
Yeah,
descriptive.
and those who are paying attention to the video, I'll just put it right here so you
Okay.
can. This is kind of an idea. I don't know if that's in camera. I can't see.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
This is kind of the idea of what you're looking at.
Yes. So this is just some initial ideas that we are actually going to take to a city council work session next week. As you can see, the trees are coming back. See those beautiful green things? Those are
look
trees.
evergreen little areas.
Yes. And so it's really cool. And the different ideas that they have for planters as far as, trees that are planted right into the ground that have the grates that you've seen in different areas. And then some of them are in planters with seeding and they're like self-watering. They recycle rainwater and all that. So super environmental, which is really cool. These little lines up here are festoon lighting. So we'll be able to have lighting up above, which will be kind of different and really cool and unique. This will be our central hub. This is at 5th and Dewey. It's a brick pattern. We don't know what yet, but we want to put some kind of a really cool brick pattern in there. The other thing we'd really like to do is call this the Canteen District. Just
like it.
because of the whole history of the canteen in this area and that cool story that came from that. This is some cool weatherproof kind of, it's not really plexiglass, but a different kind of weatherproof material that's like that, and some really cool colors that'll cover those alleys, but it'll still let enough light in that they won't be homes for the homeless anymore.
Are you guys planning on doing anything on the walls, like kind of what they're doing with the wings?
Possibly. I mean, that would kind of come down the road eventually. However, I will tell you that with this becoming a historic district, sometimes they have some rules and specifications. And if a building owner wanted to do some renovations and they had that painting on there that it's not original to the building, they would lose their funding. So there's a lot of rules that go into it, but some of it could be allowed. It depends. And if it's a tasteful mural or whatever, then you just have to have it approved, basically, is all that means. And then the other really cool thing is when we have parades and stuff and we have to block the streets with those ugly barricades, one of the things we talked about that would be really cool is making these really neat planters that are super, super heavy and just be able to put a forklift underneath it and move that.
Yeah.
So it's something really pretty blocking the streets instead of the barricades. So
Yeah.
we have lots of great grand ideas. What will actually happen may not be this, but this is a starting point. At least we have a starting point and ideas of what direction we would like to see the downtown landscape go.
Yeah. And that's great that there's actually just a starting point, because you have to start somewhere. And I think that's
Right.
where a lot of times we as a community get stuck, is we don't know where to start.
Yes.
And we just know that we can
Right.
sit there and complain about it. You
Yes.
guys have actually started something.
Yeah, our
so.
downtown board has been super instrumental in making this happen. We've had a couple different community meetings, and in our actual downtown association meetings, we've kind of thrown around ideas, and that's how we arrived at this initial plan. So it's kind of exciting.
It is.
I know.
I like it.
I can't wait. I'm so excited and things are happening already. So that's what's really cool.
Can I
And you
move?
know,
Yeah, you're
more
right.
and more
Okay.
awnings or the coverings are coming up.
Yes.
And you're starting to see them, and it's looking beautiful.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people, I know the downtown got a lot of backlash when those awnings did come down. They're like, oh man, it looks terrible. Well,
Of course it does.
yeah, we just took
wait.
off some major structures, and yeah, it looks a little different. So of course,
And there
you're
was a
gonna
lot
think
of
it's bad.
damage under those structures and where
Yeah.
they were attached to the buildings. I mean, some buildings had extensive damage, water damage and just weather damage and things like that. So they really had to take a lot of time and expense to fix those before they could start putting on their awnings or doing brickwork or whatever they decided to do.
Not to mention, like, I don't know, I'm a building looker, I'm a ceiling looker, like, inevitably I always look up at ceilings. But when you're sitting over Espresso or any place downtown and you're just looking out, it still amazes me for how long those things have been down, how beautiful those buildings are and
Yes.
the detail that was hiding underneath
Right.
those. Remember, history nerd right here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and we were with some friends for Music on the Bricks, and
Oh, yeah.
where we were sitting in our, on the bleachers. A friend of ours, even sitting on the street, looks up and goes, "Is that Mason symbol on, in the building above espresso shop?" And she said, "I never noticed that with those awnings there
Right.
because it was hard to look up and see all of the detail in the building if you're on the street or even on the other street. It was hard to see all of that."
Yeah.
And then she started looking around. She's like, "What is Keith Theater?" You know, what I mean? And she's not, not being from here. She doesn't know the
Right.
history of downtown. She's like, "That was a theater?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, that was a theater." I was like, where Good Life on the Bricks used to be a hotel. They're in the old lobby, the bar part's in the old lobby. I'm like, holy crap, there's so much down here that nobody got to see because those awnings were up. And now that they're gone, you can actually look and go, oh, there's
And
a
you
lot
can
of
see
history.
the storefronts. You actually
Yes.
know what stores are there. I used to walk to the espresso shop for meetings all the time. And when they took the awnings down, like 3 times in a row, I missed the front door because you're so used to seeing things a certain way. 3 times I missed the front door. I'm like, where am I going? Oh, it's over here.
I've done that too.
Right.
I've done that.
But-
Like, it should be right here. Oh, wait, no, it's further down.
But eventually, when the older style awnings come up, if that's what the building owner chooses to do or the business owner, and so I mean, it's going to look. I share in the vision of foresight. Being able to go, okay, this is what it looks like now, but eventually with those
Yes, and I
trees,
think
with
so
those
many
awnings.
people have such a negative connotation and just a negative attitude about downtown because the last time they were here was maybe 10 years ago. And it was kind of
A pit.
yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
And
I'll say it for you.
thanks. And if you haven't been downtown in a while, come downtown. Come get some ice cream. Come get some lunch or dinner or coffee in the morning. Whatever you want to do, just come down and check it out and just walk around and look at how much care these building and business owners have put into their businesses. It's just, it's amazing. It truly is.
So where would you say, because obviously you care not only about downtown, but the city as a whole,
Yes.
where does that come from?
I don't know. I mean, I've always been really motivated by nature, I guess, and a nurturer. I get my, how they say, what fills your cup? What fills my cup is volunteering, just doing things for others. That's what fills my cup. That's what makes me happy. And so when we opened this business, when we started with the screen print business, and I really just thought it was going to be a hobby. Little did I know it was going to turn into a full-time plus gig. And then, of course, we added Cycle Sport. Then we added our management company. And so it's just kind of grown. Well, from there, that opened other doors and other opportunities. So I started out as PTA president when my son was in school 10 years ago. But by having these businesses, it's opened the door for me to be on the Trails Committee, to be on the Nebraska Bike Walk Board of Directors, to be associated with the downtown chamber hostesses, all the different things. And so I just, I want this community to be a great place for my kids and their kids. But it seems to be everything that I do takes forever. Like Trails Committee, do you know how long it takes to get a trail?
Oh my God, it takes forever.
Oh my goodness. By the time you get the funding and the approval and everything else. So I don't know why I pick these things that take forever, but
So here's my thought, because I heard this on Bobby Bones the other day, and I was like, ooh, you're right. You're completely right. All the good things are going to take a really long time, and they're going to be
True.
really, really hard.
Yeah.
But how are you going to appreciate them if you don't actually have to sacrifice and
Right.
work hard.
Right.
If it was
exactly.
easy, what comes easy is going to disappear
Yes.
easy.
Yes. Well, that, and I have a problem saying no. I don't really know how to say no.
Yeah. That happens.
But that's because it's what I love to do, and that's why I put in 18 to 20 hour days here sometimes, because I'll be doing other things for other organizations or other people, and then I'll come back here and do all my taxes and book work, and all that kind of stuff that I need to do here, and customer service. I love people and just being able to help them and see their dreams become reality. So when they come in with a t-shirt idea, or like yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw the post about the tie that we did for his mother's funeral.
I did see that.
Loved sunflowers, and he wanted a sunflower on a tie. And so Angel did one out of vinyl, and all the little petals, all the little details and all of that. I almost thought the man was going to be in tears when he left here, and it's just those moments, when the two boys that had passed away in the car crash, gosh, has it been like 7 or 8 years now?
Yeah.
And their mom would come in and sit with me while we would print the shirts, because she just felt close to them here because it was their faces on those shirts. And so I think it's just that nurturing nature in me, probably, that and my husband and I both, we just have an extreme passion for everything that we do. I think it's the only reason why we can race gravel races on tandem and not kill each other or end up in divorce.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do that. I'd kill my husband.
It's 12 hours. It's the only time we get to spend together. Like, even though we're here together, we're so busy, we don't get to talk. So it's our only time to really, 12 hours of full attention. Come on.
Well, pedaling a bike.
Yeah. Easy.
For you guys. God. I die going 14 miles. I'm like, are we done yet?
Are we done yet? Yeah. So,
So being so involved, having a great business, obviously has also led to some accolades for you. You were voted number one in the Reader's Choice poll. Also Entrepreneur of the Year.
Should we bring Jeff in for this?
Yeah, if he has time. I mean, they'd have to share a microphone. Is he busy?
Oh, is he talking to somebody?
Oh, it looks like he's talking to somebody.
Oh, he might.
We're
be
looking at
talking
the
to
security
a
camera. We're just stalking him.
Yeah. What is he? Is he actually working?
That's why you
what
have
is he
cameras
doing?
here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I got to keep my eye on him.
So you can grab him to talk about something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. That was actually a surprise. That was really cool. It's really awesome when you do work so hard for the community and the things that you do, and then, because we don't expect recognition at all. We are not pat on the back kind of people. We just do this because we love it. But then when you get that pat on the back, it's pretty darn cool, not gonna lie.
Well, and I think when I saw it, I was like, this is awesome. This is absolutely awesome, because I remember seeing you guys open up Whitetail at the very, very beginning.
Yeah, you were there in the beginning.
Yeah, downtown, not downtown, but on the
North side.
North side, in that building, and then coming here and just seeing what you guys have done over the years. It's amazing. I'm so proud of you guys. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And the champions that you are for the community is unbelievable, and we are lucky to have you. But what made you guys want to go in and start this screen printing? You said it was a hobby.
Right. Okay. So when we very first started, Franzen Plumbing owned the building that was over there, and he didn't need all of it. He just needed a little section of it. And so we had been, we're avid bicyclists, and we did all of our shopping at Cycle Sport. And because, shop local, I'm all about shopping local. And so with that became that relationship with Patty Evans. And George, bless his heart, retired from the railroad, and is like, I want to travel with my wife. I want her to do these things with me. Go tell her you guys want to take over the bike shop. And so Jeff had been talking to her, and finally she's like, okay, I think I'm ready. I think I can do it. So we had talked to Mark and, decided we were going to rent that half of the building and got ready to move it all over. And she couldn't do it. She couldn't let go of her baby. In the meantime, we had an idea for a clothing line to go with the bike shop. And we had heard that Midwest Screen Print was going to sell some equipment. So we went to talk to them about, what equipment we would need and all of that. And they were like, well, we kind of just want to sell the whole entire business. What do you think? So Jeff kind of followed him around for about a month, and he printed maybe 5 to 8 jobs. And we were like, well, we have the space. here's this equipment. We could, with the railroad and me substitute teaching, like, yeah, we could probably make this work. I'm thinking I'm going to be sitting in an office all day, bored out of my mind. And so, we kind of prayed about it. And we're like, all right, let's do it. So we ended up buying Midwest Screen Print, calling it Whitetail Screen Print. My brother-in-law and sister in Maryland have a store, Whitetail Outpost, an archery place. And so we're like, let's just keep that whitetail in the family, and named it Whitetail Screen Print. And the rest is history. Moved over here. Now we have Cycle Sport too. It's just kind of how it all worked out. Kind of crazy.
Right, because Cycle Sport, I remember they were selling the business, and yeah, that's when you guys came in, and I mean, it made sense being, like you said, you're avid bicyclists,
right?
You
well,
had the
and
space.
when Patty had passed away unexpectedly, George decided that it just really wasn't his passion to then run it,
right?
And that's when we took over, and our main focus with the bike side is we really wanted to keep Patty's ride alive. And so that's why we kept the name Cycle Sport, but just added the whitetail to it. And then I don't know if you guys have been down the trail on Buffalo Bill,
yes,
but we put that drinking fountain where you can take a drink, fill a water bottle, or water your pet. There's a little pet bowl there. We recently put in a stone in memory of her with her original Cycle Sport logo. And we would like to also put in a bench in that spot too. So it's kind of it's definitely a passion of ours to lift up this community.
Well, I think right there in what you just said, it shows, because you could have went in and just bought their inventory and said, all right, well, now it's Whitetail, bicycles. Or you could have just went like, oh, well, let's open a bike shop because there's now, at the time, only one in town, but in order to keep the name, put those tributes up, shows that you care about the community and the history of this community, and you're not what's the word I'm looking for, you're not really like into, oh, they're closing down, good,
right? Exactly. Yeah, no. And just like with the Paramount, we're going to bring back that Paramount sign. We'll add our own little flair to it. It'll now become the Whitetail Paramount Square is what we're going to call that building.
Very nice.
And so we'll add our own little touch to it, but at the same time maintain that history of what was originally there. So that's what
awesome.
We're all about.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you have another business, you said. Do you want to talk about that one, the management one?
So that's just our company that owns all of our rentals and our buildings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We have residential and commercial rentals. And so for my mind, I have to keep them all separate. So I have 3 different businesses so I can keep them all straight.
Yeah. I can
That
see
makes
where
sense.
you could do that.
That
Right.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, and possibly looking at a 4th.
Shea, when are you going to have time? Okay,
I need
how
employees.
Do you do that? How do you do that? How do you have time for all this?
I don't know. We just find it. We just make it.
Because
I don't know. We
Jeff's
just do.
on the road all the time.
He's on the road. Plus right now he's training for a full Ironman, which is like a full-time job in itself, which we'll do that in November in Arizona. Being a single mom, basically, because he is on the railroad and because he is spending other time training, plus being on the bike side when he's home. It's, but you find the time when you just do. You make the time. Like I said, if you have to work till 4 o'clock in the morning, you work till 4 o'clock in the morning. I need employees. Anyone out there?
She needs employees.
Anyone out there listening?
If you want to work for a really fantastic person
And
who
fun.
is fun.
And
I was
fun.
just going to say that.
Right? Like you had to. Nobody's gonna put that. Like, do you really want to work for a shit company for a frigid ice bitch? Then come work for us. Nobody's gonna say that.
You know what,
Shea
though?
is not a
She is
frigid
not.
ice
But
bitch.
Well, I don't know, because do you know how many times I've tried to quit my job or work less hours, but my boss is a real bitch. She won't let me. So it depends on who you ask.
right?
Trust me, she's not. She's fun. Like I walk in and she's like, "Where's my whiskey?"
Right.
I know, you walk in empty-handed, really?
I know, I'm sorry.
But that's awesome too. That again, having my microphone stand is just totally falling apart on me. All right, cool.
I didn't touch that one.
I know you didn't. Not only that, but you're employing local people.
Yes.
You're obviously needing to, as you just said, needing to expand your workforce
Yeah.
possibly.
We grow like crazy around here, and we need the manpower to help us grow. So,
Yeah.
we could probably print shirts 24 hours a day. Honestly, that's how busy we are.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that though. Everything has a shirt here. Everything. And
Everything.
where do they go?
Well, yeah.
To them.
Well, I'm wearing the
Yeah.
shirt from the play that
Yep.
I did. You know what I mean? Like they do those things where everybody in the production gets a shirt as a kind of a keepsake kind of stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, now that you think about it, every business, every walk, every fundraiser. They, you know,
Yeah.
at least the staff, at the very least, the people who are staffing at the event have to have those shirts.
Right. And can you buy them online? Absolutely. But are you going to get that experience of someone face to face telling you, this design isn't really going to work this way. This could be a lot better if we do it this way, or I can save you money by doing it this way. And what happens in every single group, someone forgets to put in their order.
Yep.
And if you have to go order that one shirt online, it's going to cost you 5 times as much as the original order did. We will honor that original price and print the oopsie that someone forgot to.
Well, and I absolutely hate shopping for clothes online. Because there's always, I would rather be able to try on the clothes and make sure they fit me right, or it's the style that I want. I don't know how many times I've bought something online and you open it up, it's like, is this a child's size? And then you go look at the size chart. Well, you know what I mean?
Are you buying
I
your
know
clothes from
exactly
like
what you mean.
China?
Yeah, well, exactly, because there
You
was...
don't realize they're from China, but yeah.
Where their size extra large is really a youth small?
Yeah, and I ran into that when I was going to get a shirt, sidetrack, but a friend of mine, I was going to go see Godzilla with him in the theater. And anybody who's ever played the video game Mass Effect knows what a Reaper is. And he and I used to argue over who would win a fight, Godzilla or a Reaper, which is this giant robot alien thing. I know, total nerdness. Okay, but I was going, and I hadn't seen him in like a couple of years, so I thought it would be funny because I was going all the way to Lincoln to see this movie with him. I thought it would be funny if he showed up to the theater and I was wearing a Reaper t-shirt, because I was always on Team Reaper and he's on Team Godzilla. And I'm starting to look online trying to find one that fits me, and again, looking at the size chart, I'm like, oh, that should fit. They have it in my size. And then you look down and it's the Chinese sizes, or it's an overseas size, and they size their people differently. So I'm like, this thing is gonna fit my son, but it sure as hell won't fit me. And it's supposed to fit me, and I hate that. That's why shopping local is so important to me when it comes to clothes shopping, because then I can try on a t-shirt, and certain companies size their stuff just slightly different. And that's
we
one of the
find that
benefits.
here too.
Yeah.
One t-shirt will fit, a size medium will fit differently than another brand's t-shirt size medium. So that's why we try to carry a little bit of a selection for people to try on before they're ordering hundreds and hundreds of t-shirts. But, you know, and shopping local, it is super important, and I'm not going to preach it unless I'm going to do it. But by shopping local, I'm not saying, now we did all of our renovations and everything by shopping local. Every electrician, every plumber, everybody was local. But when you're looking for retail items like you're talking about, when I say shop local, God is not going to strike you down if you're in Lincoln and you buy something. All I'm asking you to do is try. If if there's a specific thing that you really want and you're really looking for and you've looked all over town and you just can't find that thing, well, of course you have to go somewhere else. But if you tried, thank you. That's all I'm asking.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things is I know that there are people who just every time they get paid, they'll load up the car and go to Kearney because that's the only place you're going to be able to find anything. Well, that's the only place nearby that you're going to find a Target, but that doesn't mean that's the only place you're going to find everything you're looking for.
Right. And the service alone, when you're shopping local, I mean, 99% of the stores you go into are very friendly, very helpful. You'll go into that one store that maybe they aren't quite as helpful as you had hoped, but you also have to remember everyone is human.
Exactly.
Business owners are working themselves to the bone. And so they have bad days too. So you might have caught them on a bad day, give them another chance. But just that customer service piece alone and that individual attention you're going to get when you shop local at Target is somebody walking up to you and asking you how your day is and what they can help you with. Probably not. But I mean, I love Target too. Don't get me wrong. But if you can find it locally, try.
Mm-hmm. I'm still a proponent of the boutiques and the retail stores for women that we have here. Like if you want something, we all want. We as women, we all want something that nobody else is going to have.
Right.
Or very few other people have. When I'm walking down the street in Lincoln, I see a woman who has the same damn shirt that I have because she bought it at XYZ store. Yeah, I don't really like that. But if I can go shop at Charm or something here, I'm like, oh yeah, nobody else is going to be wearing that here.
Well, and as far as Charm goes, I mean, it's kind of sad that they're leaving. I was really disappointed. But there again, why are they... Gothenburg is huge for them. They started in Gothenburg, and all the North Platte people were going to Gothenburg and like, please open a store here. Well, everyone's complaining that there aren't any stores, but they're not supporting the stores that are here. If you are complaining and you want them, you actually need to go to them once in a while and shop, or they are going to close. It costs money to have doors open, whether you're paying employees, your heating bill, your air conditioning bill, your lighting,
Just
you're paying
your
for
time.
those things. Yes.
Just your time and alone. I mean,
Well, and the same thing with you mentioned Bow and Arrow. You know, they're out of Kearney. They've been here for various things. They bring a truck down and set up a tent for like Arts in the Park or whatever. When they announced that they were coming here, and again, I'm not looking at women's boutique news, but I just happen to see some chatter online about it. I want unique shirts too. But yeah, they end up, a lot of people were like, yay, they're coming. They're going to be here. Great. Yes, they are. Now go.
Yes.
Go there. Go and patronize that business because that's the only way they're going to stay.
Yeah.
So,
If you see ribbon cuttings, make sure you go. Attend those ribbon cuttings. Support those people that are starting new businesses. Plus, it's a great way to see, firsthand what is in their store because, it's just an opportunity to go and kind of get that sneak peek.
yeah.
Go to ribbon cuttings. Go to different events like that. Show some support.
well, and speaking of ribbon cuttings, again, you have one coming up this coming Tuesday.
Yes.
From the time we're recording this on the 22nd at Keith Blackledge Park at 5. We're getting pictures taken.
Oh my goodness. Nerd.
5 in the afternoon, correct? Is when that's happening?
Yep, 5 o'clock. If there is inclement weather, which I think it's supposed to be halfway decent on Tuesday.
I think so.
But if it is not so great weather, then we'll be over at the Switchyard.
Right.
But
okay.
otherwise, we will be here in the park. So
Okay.
yeah, so you
Okay.
can just come on down and there's plenty of room to park. We have that nice lot. Otherwise, you can park over in the former Alco parking lot and just walk over.
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of parking downtown too that people just don't quite realize.
Since you bring it up, do you think anybody's ever going to do anything with that, with the Alco?
Okay, here's how this is my
it's been
opinion on
empty
that.
for years.
Right. So Nautil, that's the group that owns the building. And I don't know if they're from Lincoln or Omaha. I can't remember which one they're from. But we hear this building is like a little teeny tiny pimple on their butt. Not very important. Sitting empty, it actually is better for them because they can take that tax write-off since it's sitting empty. I know people have tried to get a hold of them to look at it. We had the potential for that grocery store to come in, and Nautil took so much time in committing to anything that it just kind of fell by the wayside. We had tons of letters of support. We need a grocery store on the north side.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, it's not for lack of trying. There have been several interested parties. Our chamber does a great job in trying to recruit businesses, and that's one of the first buildings that they show them. It's just getting Nautil to cooperate.
Yeah.
So let's have some forward-thinking conversation here. What would you like to see happen with that building?
Definitely a grocery store would be a positive. That would be a win. But something, okay, so I thought, what a great place for an event center.
That's what I thought too.
But in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's take all the merchants that are left in the mall, let's move them downtown and let's make the mall an event center. Let's turn that into an event center. You have parking, you have the space, it's right there in the middle of town. But yeah, if I could put a parking garage behind the Pawnee and an event center down here, I'd be all about that too. So
I know.
I have lots of big dreams and lots of goals. It's probably like when the city sees me coming, they probably run the other way. Any like city official, any council member, they probably run the other way. They're like, oh Lord, what idea does she have now?
Idea people are not bad people.
No, idea people are not bad people. I'd love to see, like you said, an event center or something where, and just because I'm a fan of them and do announcing for them, I would love to be able to see a semi-permanent home for Flat Rock Roller Derby.
Yes.
To have I know they use the DNN, but the DNN
Yeah.
has other events as well.
Right, and
sometimes they
DNN
can't
is
come.
just completely booked. I mean, he
Yeah.
has events constantly. Tad has done a great job with growing the DNN and the youth sports again and getting all of that going. He has done such a great job. And so whether he expands and does a bigger event center or whatever, I think that if a new event center came in, that the two of them would definitely work hand in hand. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
an outdoor
permanent.
area would be really cool over here, like with a stage, so you could have like music or something on.
Well, I would
Friday
love
or
to
Saturday
put that.
nights.
I would love to make the bricks area that close it off to parking, make it a walking area only, and then that central spot on 5th and Dewey, make that like our stage area or whatever for
I remember
concerts. And
years ago, that was kind of one of the talks that was going around, or one of the ideas. And I still think that's an amazing idea. I would really like that, because when you look at other areas that have actually shut off their downtowns so that people cannot
Like Pearl Street?
Yes. They actually do very well.
Yes, and I think a lot of the business owners worry that if there's not parking, people won't come. But how far do you walk from your car to inside Walmart and all around Walmart?
Oh, exactly.
When you're walking in there, I mean, it is less for you to park in. We have outlined parking lots all around downtown. It's less distance to walk from one of those parking lots to a store.
Yeah.
Well, and the last time I was in Lincoln, it was for Godzilla, and I'm trying, honestly, and I'm trying to leave, and I took a wrong turn, and I ended up in the Haymarket.
Oh.
I don't know, speaking,
Lincoln.
yeah, in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Speaking
It's awesome.
but speaking of a walking area,
Yeah.
how the hell are they allowing traffic down there? It took forever to get through there because of all the
Yes.
pedestrian traffic. It's great that they do have parking there, but how many times have you been in downtown Lincoln? You're going to the Haymarket or something. You end up parking a block or two away in a parking garage and
And do you
walking
do it?
that way. And
Absolutely.
yeah, because, so I can see, I mean, you have a parking lot here. You have the old Alco parking lot. You have side street parking, those kinds of things. Or as you mentioned, Uber. I think there's more Uber drivers now. There's a couple of Lyft drivers. Just have one of them drop you off on the corner somewhere.
It opens the opportunity for a new business. Hello, pedicabs.
Yeah. Which I
Hello?
think, isn't there somebody who does that in the summer?
Well,
I thought I
they
saw, or
used
they did.
to. They were here for a little while, and they were seasonal when they were here.
Yeah, summer. Yeah.
Yep, but even, geez, I mean,
Yeah.
there's an opportunity for another new business. Kids going to college or whatever.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
there's that possibility. And like you said, how often do you go somewhere else and park? Like you said, Pearl Street. Last time I was there, we parked 2 or 3 blocks away and had to walk to Pearl Street but we were willing to do
Right.
it because
when
that's
we
what
have
you
our
do.
downtown events and we end up closing Dewey from 4th to 6th, it's not an issue. People find places to park and they come down. We have the Christmas parade. We have Kids Fest. We have the Soup and Sweets cook-off. We have our Ladies' Night shopping event, which is super popular. All of those things, the things that where we have to close off those streets, they're finding places to park and not complaining one little bit. So,
I think people are okay with walking. I really do.
and some of our older generation,
I get it.
Yes, if we had, whether it was a golf cart that delivered them to the storefront or a pedicab or whatever, if we had those options available, I mean, again, we're forward thinking, we're dreaming, we're wish listing.
Exactly.
But that's what makes our town grow.
Exactly.
We need those forward thinking people that are willing to. Someone said, what does it mean to you to be Entrepreneur of the Year? And someone had sent me a cute little quote that they said, being an entrepreneur is like jumping off of a cliff and building an airplane on the way down.
Yeah.
It's so true. It is such a huge risk to do something new. But when you do, it's so rewarding. But if we don't have those people who are willing to take those risks, we won't ever grow. I cannot praise our chamber enough. Gary is amazing he works his butt off trying to bring in new businesses, but he also spends time nurturing the businesses that are here, which is super important.
I appreciate that he is a forward thinker. He is a very forward thinker.
Right.
Absolutely.
Some people may not see it, because again, they want things right away.
Right.
And
Takes time.
I can see their point of you can't get on the news every time a business is potentially going to move to North Platte and go, hey, so-and-so's potentially going to move here, because then everybody thinks, oh, they're coming.
Yeah, let's put on our happy pants and support them.
Right.
But how do you convey that message to
Right.
the community that, hey, we have some potential people coming in to look.
Right.
Are you going to support us, or are you going to keep talking negative about us?
Yeah, and then if that deal falls through for whatever reason, then everybody's like, oh, well, you're ineffective or you're not doing your job. That's part of it. I mean, sometimes they see something in another community that is a little more appealing.
You're going to need a lot of no's before you get a yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And
exactly.
I think it's up to everybody. Yeah, like you said, the squeaky wheels, the positive squeaky wheels need to be the loudest so that potential businesses can go, okay, well, there's negativity everywhere you go. You can't escape it. But it's not as prevalent here, and maybe they'll be
Right.
more enticed to come here.
Yeah, and I think we're a lot of that is education and communication. We need to educate our people on what's happening. We need to be able to communicate effectively with them about what's happening. A lot of the complaints that were happening about the park were that they shut down our delivery door. Our delivery door is back there, and it didn't shut our door down at all. Where were you 2 years ago when we had to, or however many years ago it was, when we were shut down for 2 years, our front door, because of the street.
Exactly.
And so we had to pay thousands of dollars to get this door put in. You know, how come you weren't concerned about us then? And then they were like, why are they putting a parking lot right next to a parking lot? It is not a parking lot, people. It's a green space. Like, it's that education piece. Like, pay attention and know what you're talking about before you talk about it.
I feel like our rumorville is a huge problem too that escalates a lot of this BS that is going around. Because
Go to the source.
Exactly.
Right.
There's so many, well, I heard this. Well, I heard this. And nobody actually ever tries to
Right.
get the truth. There's been a couple times you and I have come across things and be like, okay, wait a second. Let's actually go talk to somebody. The splash pad. They were doing the work around the splash pad. Oh, they're closing it down. That's what
they're ripping it up.
They're ripping it up. Nobody likes it. No, they're ripping it up.
my goodness.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, they were putting a brick barrier around it.
To make it less muddy for the kids going in and out of it.
Or the other one that everybody who says park automatically assumes playground. So they're like, what a terrible
Right.
place for a park.
Yes.
Kids are going to be playing
That's why
by
I kept
this.
calling it green space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you say that word park and people do assume playground equipment. That's
Right.
why I changed my vocabulary and changed it to green space.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, it's just like you said, a little bit of education. Go to the source,
Right.
do your research, and
Yep.
you know, my wife was actually, discussing online with somebody who was saying what a waste of resources. She's like, but it's paid for with private funds, spearheaded by a business that's down there. This is not a waste. I mean, and if it
Right.
is a waste of resources, then it's people wasting their own. It's not a waste of tax
But
dollars.
let me ask you
And it's
this.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Even if the city paid for this, what do we have to complain about? It's beautiful. Does
Right?
that make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
no, it
if
does.
I'm paying taxes, which owning 3 businesses, owning several homes in North Platte,
You're paying some taxes.
my tax bill is crazy. I want to see those taxes go to something like beautifying, the beautification, or like the rec center. I'm
Absolutely.
also on the Parks and Wellness Board and Foundation. And that's one of our big focal points right now is what are we going to do with the rec center? Renovate it, build new, add a field house. Like, there's so many different possibilities, and we're weighing out all of those options. But I'm paying my tax dollars. I want to see it go to something like this. So who cares if the city paid for it, or in a roundabout way, we as the citizens paid for it? Wouldn't you rather see the money go to something like that?
Yeah.
agree.
I guess.
yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
I don't know what they want to
well, I
see.
mean, they didn't, but
Right.
I don't want to start a whole nother controversy, but but even if they did, I would support them 100%.
Well, yeah, it's something that, again, it was a blighted area. It was a dirt lot. And nobody was going to do anything with it. Let's be
Right.
honest. Nobody was going to build anything there.
Oh, Jeff threatened to have this. He was like, hey, if you guys don't do something about it, I'm pouring concrete and making it a parking lot right directly for my business.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I wanted mud wrestling. He wanted concrete, whatever.
I think mud wrestling would have been better.
yeah, I would have been okay with that, I think.
Great. Now I got to dig everything up and make it back to
no,
mud.
no.
Move it.
We'll have that somewhere else now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, there's. I think we'll find a place. We can find a spot for mud wrestling,
Sweet. Let's do it.
Yes. right in the middle of Cody Park. We can do it at the softball fields and raise money for the softball fields for renovations there.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. And these are all things that are going to bring people to our town. We might as well have people footing the bill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bring these softball tournaments in. I spend weekends on doing softball tournaments, doing basketball tournaments, doing volleyball tournaments. Do you know how much money I am dumping into those other towns, staying in, well, we usually take our camper, but you're still paying to stay in a campground. You're eating out. You're doing all of these things. All I can think of is we need to bring that money here.
Yeah.
But until our community jumps on board and supports our city spending money on cleaning up the fields, baseball, softball, whatever, we're not going to bring that tourism here and that money here.
Right.
Exactly.
It takes a little bit of money to make money. And I want this community to be a place, I don't want this to be a drive-through, flyover town. I want this to be a place where people come and stop and want to ride their bikes on our trails and shop in our downtown or shop in our mall or whatever, eat in our restaurants, stay in our hotels.
Well, where else? I mean, you've got McCook that's 75 miles away. I mean, Ogallala's 50 miles away, yes, and they have Lake McConaughey, but I mean, Scottsbluff's way over there. Kearney's way over there. Valentine is way up there. I mean, North Platte is strategically positioned not only for, transportation of goods and services with trucks and train and all that, but where we're at in the state, it could be a destination town as long as
absolutely.
those steps are taken to make it such.
Yep.
Well, and I think it's safe to say that everybody goes to other towns. And
Oh, yeah,
everybody
all
goes
the
to cities
time.
and well, this
Right.
is really nice. Why can't we have this? Well, we can't have it because nobody's supporting it. Nobody's
Right.
giving the damn idea.
Go to a city council meeting.
Yeah.
How many of you have been to a city council meeting? Right?
Yeah.
So go to a city council meeting and just see the process and see how it works. They have a budget. They have to stick to that budget. And if roads are crappy and so they have to put more budget towards the roads that year, or if we had a really snowy winter and so a little bit more budget has to go towards snow removal, you know,
Things
instead of
come up.
complaining about it, go shop local, spend your tax dollars so they have more money to do more things with.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Whew, off my soapbox.
And here's the other thing too. Like, if you don't want to go to a council meeting, you better contact your city council person.
Yes,
'Cause
find out who your city council member
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
and have that conversation with them and just say to them, listen, I don't understand how this works. I see X, Y, and Z happening and I don't understand why. Would you please explain it to me?
Yeah.
That educational piece is so important, but I'm not going to go knock on your door and share that information with you. If you don't, you know, if you're frustrated with something or you're happy with something, either way, let your council members know so that they know what to advocate for.
And I think it's important because you said something really, really good right there. If you're happy with something, it's important to let them know when you're happy with something.
Yes.
too,
Yeah.
Because they
Yes.
don't hear that enough.
Right.
And if you're
Especially the
happy,
city council.
Oh my gosh, I know. And if you're happy with it, they like to know that because they're like, oh, let's do more of that then. My people are liking this.
Right.
Well,
So, I mean,
Oh, sorry.
no, go for it.
No, and I think it's important that you brought up that if you spend your money here, then the tax dollars increase, because the biggest falsehood out there is, well, if I go and shop in Kearney, and I use Kearney as an example because everybody does. If I go shop at Target in Kearney, then they're going to know we need a Target here. No, they're
No.
fucking not.
What they're going to see.
They're not taking a poll at the door like, what city are you from, so we know where to put the next Target or Olive Garden or fucking Red Lobster or whatever. No, you're benefiting that community. Everybody wants to know why Kearney's parks are so beautiful, why their downtown is so beautiful, why they have nice roads, because we're taking our money there instead of spending it here. And then you bitch that your taxes go up, your
That
property
sales tax
taxes or whatever.
increase that everybody shot down.
For recreation,
All that-
yeah.
And that again comes down to education.
Yeah.
If people would have understood what that really was, all that means is all these people that are driving in from other places are helping us foot the bill for our projects.
All those motels that people are bitching about.
Yes,
Well, those people that
yes.
got gas here would have maybe bought a T-shirt at, Fort Cody, bought lunch, maybe went to Walmart and had to get shaving cream or whatever. That kind of stuff. Exactly. On top
Right.
of what we have to pay, yes, but I was talking to a lady recently who said that North Platte went from a railroad town to an interstate town, essentially. That's how she sees it, because a lot of people, hotels, are passing through, eating at the restaurants. All of that money that they were bringing into our community could have benefited this community, but it got shot down because nobody wanted their taxes increased. Yet they take their money somewhere else and increase the tax base there.
Well, and their taxes are higher than ours anyway. Most of the surrounding communities have a higher sales tax rate than we do. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. So you're not squawking when you have to pay the extra tax when you're going out of town. So
Yep. Not to mention you're helping those other towns get other stores to be able to come in because they're seeing the demographics, the sales tax numbers that are coming in, like, oh, this town is very much supportive. So those Targets or those pick any other big store, ABC, whatever, are looking at them and like, oh, we're going to go there rather than North Platte because everybody's going to Kearney
Right.
to go shop.
And the only thing that they see is, oh, a lot of people buy gas here because everybody's filling their tank before they leave town.
Yeah.
Right.
And how much money are you really saving? I've seen people say, well, it's cheaper if I go and get it somewhere else. Well, how much money are you saving when you got to put $100 in your tank, buy food there? I like flipping
Makes
sweet.
sense.
I like flipping sweet pizza too, but I'm not going to drive all the way to Kearney to get it every weekend.
No.
That's a
Right.
special, like I happen to be passing through Kearney or I'm in Kearney for something. Okay, we'll go there. Other than that, I'm going to go over to another round and get one of theirs because their pizzas are fucking awesome. They really are. They're
Well,
really good.
And all the people that talk about how friendly our town is when they come in, like that's huge. That is huge. I mean, we do for the most part. We
Yeah, there are really a lot of friendly people here.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I know you're busy and you're in the middle of your day. All right, so we'll probably wrap
I
up here.
always have time for you guys.
Well, we do appreciate that. Thank you. So we're gonna finish, and I know we talked about a lot of stuff of North Platte, and it doesn't necessarily have to be business related or anything like that. But just kind of finish with a question that I think we're going to start asking everybody. In your opinion, what does North Platte need?
It could be anything.
It could be
doesn't
anything.
have to
What
be-
do you think
It doesn't
North
have
Platte
to be
needs?
physical. It could be mental. It could
This
be anything.
is, well, more positivity, obviously. But my number one focus right now is trails. I think we need trails, not only from a tourism standpoint or people looking to move into our community, but my big thing is safety. My husband, my daughter, my family members, my friends, they are avid bicyclists, and a lot of them walk and they push their kids in strollers, and there really isn't a way to get safely using alternative means of transportation, meaning a bicycle or on foot or even rollerblading. There isn't a safe way to get from point A to point B. There is not a safe way for kids to get from school to the rec center, from the rec center out to the Golden Spike. So for me, my passion is definitely trails, and I think our biggest need is trails.
A good trail system.
I like
That's
it.
a good one. I do like that.
I like it. I see that a lot.
Yeah.
But of course, number 2 is positivity. We need more positivity.
I-
Hashtag I am North Platte. Wear your
15th
shirt on the 15th.
On the 15th of every month.
And if you don't have a shirt, you can get one at Whitetail Screen
They're
Print.
super soft. They're like softer than your favorite pair of pajamas.
Sweet. I'm going to touch one on my way out. I'm just going to be that creepy guy who just feels a shirt and just, ooh, nice.
When I see you laying down on a
Yeah,
pile
laying
of
down on a
shirts,
pile of shirts.
I promise not to call the police.
Right? Making
We
like,
have a weirdo in here. Do you think you can
Oh, wait,
come
never mind.
take
It's
care
just
of it?
Jerome. It's
Oh,
fine.
it's just Jerome. It's fine. Never mind. Cancel that call.
making t-shirt angels. Just loving it.
Dude, we really do that in the winter because when they come off of that when you dry them, they get really when you cure the ink, they're like 300 degrees when they come out. And so in the winter when it's really cold, you'll just kind of wrap yourself up and lay down on the pile of shirts for a little. So yeah, that's a thing.
Watch.
Hey.
I'm going to call her and be like, hey, I'm really cold. Can I come
Can I
over?
come by? Yeah, you can
That's
come
no
fold shirts. Heck yeah. Come on over.
So not only now we've learned that, especially in the winter, Whitetail Screen Print, when they make shirts, they actually do make them with love because they're cuddling
We
them.
do. Oh, no joke. When my sister would fold like all of the hoodies, she made it look like they were hugging. Like that was important to her to make them look like, it was, yeah.
That's cute.
Everything is made with love around here.
Thank you. I
That's
think that's
fantastic.
cute. I'm like, oh.
No, it is. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
tuck-
then, you got Jeff's philosophy, every butt on a bicycle. So, get
Yeah.
your butt in here and get it on a bicycle. Yeah. And you can ride in the winter. We have fat bikes.
Yeah.
Fat bikes are all the thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I
And then
saw
when
one
you're-
out there.
You can ride over
Right.
here and snuggle with the shirts so you can get warm.
Right? And then you go get a coffee, you go grab something to
Yes.
eat, escape a
Yes.
room, and get a tattoo.
Right?
You really
There's
can do it all.
so much to do around here. And
And
all the
eat some
downtown
sushi.
events during Christmas.
Oh,
There is
yeah.
an event every week during Christmas.
Yeah.
Kicking off with Shop Small Saturday.
Yep.
The Saturday after Thanksgiving. There is something to do. So yeah, there again, what do I want? What does North Platte need? Just support. Support your local business, whether it's downtown or wherever. Just support your local business and be positive, people. If you have something negative to say, find someone you can confide in. Don't put it all over Facebook.
Or if it's something negative, come up with a solution to go
Yes,
along with
Yeah.
volunteer or voice your opinion in a way where it's going to be effective, or somebody, and a lot of times we hear the backstory, so we don't know what really happened, and then we start bitching all over Facebook about it. But if you really went to the source and if someone would have come to me that had a problem with the waterfall, if they would have come to me and asked me questions, I would have put their minds at ease right away, and they would have a totally different song and dance about it. Go to the source, people.
The
Yep.
backstory is a lot of times the most important part that
Yeah.
a lot of people miss.
Exactly.
So,
Agreed.
All right.
with
well,
that,
with that, Shay, thank you so much for
You're
joining us.
welcome.
This has been North Platte in a nutshell.
With the nuts.
With the nuts.
really, that is pretty good.
That is pretty good. With the nuts. I don't know how to end it from there. Other than if you want to reach out to us, you can find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, NP Nutshell. You can email us at npnutshell@gmail.com. Yeah. So until next time, I guess.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.